In this video, I'm going to show you how to make the Verdi Vase, sometimes just called the Chinese Vase. Most of the time you'll see it described as the Verdi Vase. I'm going to use this really nice piece of marble paper that I found at my local art store to make a really nice looking vase. Now the first thing we need to do in this project is divide the paper into thirds. One easy way, of course, is to just measure the paper. However, I'll show you a way to do it using origami, just folding methods. You can use whichever way makes you happy. So first thing you do is you take the paper, and what you're going to do is you're going to make an S out of it. Something like this. And what you're going to do is you're going to just keep shifting the layers until you've got something that evens up to thirds. With just a little bit of practice, you can get this fairly quickly. It really is not. There we go. It's really not that difficult to do. And then once you have those marks, as you can see there, go ahead and fold, keeping the top edge aligned. And there you have the first third. And you go ahead and open it up. And if you did it correctly, this folding right here on this crease will give you half of this distance. So you can check it by folding this half, and it should line up exactly with your mark. And then go ahead and follow the crease down, lining up these edges. And as you can see, as we're making these folds, I'm using the paper so that the design that I want on the outside of the vase is facing down. Now that we have the thirds in this direction, we do the thirds in the other direction. Okay, once we have the paper divided into 9 squares, 3 by 3, we're going to go ahead and divide each of these squares in half again. So a good way to do that is first start by folding the entire piece of paper in half. In this model, it's really good to make sure that your creases are very precise, because you will be laying this model folds on top of each other, so that if your folds are off a little bit, when you try to fold those accordion or pleated folds, they're not going to want to fold very easily. So I fold the center crease, and I'm going to fold the center crease this way. At this point, you're just folding the model, each of the squares in half, so what order you do them in is not important. You just need to get a grid on the paper. So now I'm going to fold this edge to this line to fold this square in half. And I'm going to repeat that process on each of the corners. Okay, now that I have my 6 by 6 grid, I'm going to go ahead and fold just this outer ring of squares in half. So I'll be folding this edge up to this crease. And again, I'll be doing that all the way around. Okay, now that we have that creased, we're ready to start collapsing the model in on itself. What we're going to do is you're going to pick a direction. Since everything's symmetrical, there's no direction for the paper right now. But here is the center line. And what you're going to do is you're going to take the creases just above and below the center line. So I'm going to start with the crease that's below the center line. I'm going to invert that fold so that it is a mountain fold. And then I'm going to take that crease, that fold, and I'm going to bring it to the center line. Go ahead and crease that nicely. You're going to turn the paper around, and you're going to do the same thing with this crease, which is just below the center line. You're going to take it, you're going to invert it so that it is a mountain fold, and you're going to bring that to the center line to meet this fold that you brought in. Go ahead and make that a nice crease. And now we're going to do the exact same thing with the creases to the other side of the center line, going the other direction. So you see how this is the folds that we just made. Here's the center line, and we took these creases and we brought them in to meet the center line. So this is what we have. And now we're going to do that exact same thing turned 90 degrees. We're going to take this crease, here's our center line crease, and we're going to take the crease right below it, and we're going to turn that into a mountain fold. Now, it might be easier if you just go ahead and flip the paper over and fold it like this. And while you're at it, go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. Again, here's the center crease. We're taking the crease right above it. It's a crease that's already in the model. And I'm just inverting the crease so that on this side, I can go ahead and bring that, so I'm making a new crease, just like I did on the other side, bring that to the center line crease. And again, with this side, taking the crease, here's the center line, taking the crease right next to it. I'm going to put a new crease in by bringing this to the center line. Now, some instructions have you folding these creases that we just created when you're doing all your creasing. Obviously I don't do it that way, but you're more than welcome to try it that way if you want. But this is what we just did very quickly. Here's the center line, here's the center line. Bring these creases in like this. Bring that there. And bring that to the center. And so on the other side of your paper, you will have a nice plus sign. It won't want to lay perfectly flat, and that's okay. So now that we're looking at this side of the model, what we're going to do is we're going to take each of these ends, and we're going to do a nice petal fold or squash fold, however you want to describe it, depending on how you're looking at it. And I will show you this a little closer up so you get the idea after I finish this one. Okay, let me show you that again without my hands in the way so you can see better what is going on. So here is that pleat that we made, and we've got one on each side. What you're going to do, and if you want to make a little bit easier, you can go ahead and take this part and like do an airplane kind of fold. That'll give you some pre-creases to maybe make it a little easier. And then what you're going to do is you're going to open this up and fold these in. If you made those pre-creases, that should happen fairly easily. So again, this is what we have. We have this pleat structure, and we're bringing this down and folding these into the center like that. We're going to do that on each of the 4 sides. Again, if you want, you can go ahead and take this, fold it in like an airplane right on the center line. Do the same thing on the other side. Like that. And then open up the pleat and right along this crease right here that you've made, fold this down and push those sides in. And again. Now that you have each of these folded, you're going to go ahead and turn the model over, making sure everything's tucked in and laying at least in the right position, if not flat. You can go ahead and you're going to fold each corner in to meet that point where this crease and this crease meet. Like that. Go ahead and do that on all 4 corners. And after you've done that, what you're going to do is you're going to do the same thing with each of these corners here. So you're going to take this corner and you're going to fold it to the point where this crease and this crease intersect. So you can see the point right there. You can do the same thing on this side. And then you're going to do the same thing here, 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 and here. Okay, now that you've done that, you're going to take, it doesn't matter which side you work with, you're going to fold it into the center. And you can do the same thing with the opposite side. Now from there, you're going to take the remaining flap and fold it to the center as well. But as you do that, you're going to tuck these corners underneath here. So you fold it to the center and then tuck these flaps underneath. So your diamonds will now be together. And we'll do the same thing on this side. Fold to the center. And then tuck these flaps into these pockets. And there we have the beginnings of the Verdi Vase. And now those all those little corners that we folded and unfolded come in very handy now, because there'll be a crease along the diagonals here. So here's your diamond. So in between each diamond you will have some creases that you put in, which will make it easy, because what you're going to do is you're going to take this and you're going to tuck it backwards. So those diagonal creases make this tuck very easy to do. And again, you have your two diamond shapes, and you're going to take the flap that's in between the two diamond shapes, and you're just going to tuck that under. There's really nothing under there. So you just fold it backwards. Give that a good push. And of course you're going to do that on the remaining flaps to create the opening, the top of the vase. Now you pretty much have all the folds done for your vase. The only problem is it's a little flat. So we're going to pop the vase open. This requires a little bit of a delicate touch, and so I'm going to attempt to show you that as best I can. You're going to notice that on your pleats here you've got this side, these two sides that sort of open up. This pleat, you can see, is trapped. Okay, so we're going to work with these pleats that are open first. And basically you're just going to push, you're just going to kind of go through the center here, and you're going to push out the bottom of the vase. And as you can see, these pleats that were open are going to start to open up. Go ahead and use your fingers to push and encourage the vase to open up. The same thing on this side. And now the trickiest part is pulling this pleat out. I'm going to pull these pleats out from this fold, and you want to be gentle and delicate with this, because it's easy to rip the paper if you go quickly or you aren't careful. So it's pretty much a case-by-case basis how you do it, but you can see I'll try and do it slowly. How you open up the pleats to pull the paper out, and you can reach in again and start pushing and pulling. This part of the process, your vase is going to look, how should we say, a little deformed, but don't worry, that's normal, and we will correct that as we go on. So carefully pulling the paper out, and you can start to see the vase starting to take shape. And the further along the process you get, then the easier it gets, because there's less paper that's trapped. Try and make the creases that are going towards the bottom of the vase nice and sharp on the corners. And I'm almost there. It's really difficult to show. But just do some practice folds and before you start with a nice piece of paper, and you'll get the hang of it and you'll see what's going on. Okay, that is basically the vase. It still needs a little cleaning up, and what you can do also is take these corners here and push them out. So go ahead and stick your finger into the vase and push that out to give that a little dimensionality. And you can decide how far down you want that to go. That's however you taste. So you see how this is flat here, and here I've pushed this one out to give it some dimensionality and some character. So I'm going to go ahead and do that to each of the corners. And there is the Verdi Vase. You can, if you want to like curl these up, you can do that to again give it a little bit more dimensionality. But at this point, you're just giving a little bit of shaping to it, to however you decide you want it to look. Straightening up some of these edges. But there you have a really nice origami vase.